A word for our listeners. Achtung Cthulhu is set in the 1930s and 40s. We will be using terms and sayings from those times, including some that could be considered offensive. It is not our intention to offend. We merely wish to offer as accurate a view of the time period as possible. Welcome to Masks of Nyarlathotep, a Nerds Domain gaming podcast. Join us each week as our investigators uncover the corruption of the mythos in World War II. Starring George Chimples, Phil Durham, Rob Walker, Jestin Kimmet, Shirley Niedzwiecki, and Scott Troiano, with Matt Quiett running the table as the keeper. Eldritch evils and crazed Nazi cultists await you just beyond this music.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Nerds Domain Presents Masks of Nyarlathotep. I'm Matt, and I'm here with Shirley.
Hey.
Rob.
Having a good time.
George.
Just learned that Howie Mandel was on the cast of St. Elsewhere. So is Denzel Washington and Ed Begley Jr.
What?
And Phil.
Hello.
And Mark Harmon, star of television's NCIS.
I like that George actually waited a second for Phil to say something and then he just carried on.
I think that he was actually looking at something to try and figure out what was going on. So, we are in Bern, Switzerland, correct?
Yer.
No. Did we make it there? I thought we were studying stuff.
You talked to me. I was there.
In Bern.
Where was I
yes,
going
we
to
are
go?
in Bern.
Yeah, not
I'm studying
Innsbruck.
Stuff. I
Not there.
thought we were in Germany.
So, tell me what you want to look up in the Bern Library. The Bern Public Library.
I don't get to look anything up, really. It's all
Well,
over.
This is mostly a question for Shirley.
I would not go to the Bern Public Library. Library.
Library.
Your face is red like a strawberry.
Strawberry.
Okay, so where would you go instead?
I would try to find an old, nookish.
An old nookish library?
Nookish, school. God bless America. Bookstore that may have, I would ask around.
Okay, roll luck,
cult.
I guess.
Luck. Please be lucky. Please be lucky. Please be lucky. I'm never lucky.
Just roll the dice.
I think Sigourney Weaver. Lucky, lucky star. Lucky, lucky.
Oh, yeah, by half. By half.
Okay. So, after asking some people, you find your way to a small bookstore that deals in antiquities and oddities.
I'm looking for anything that would have to do with, lycanthropy.
Okay. Can you roll your library use for me? Which we could have done in a library, but no, we had to go to a bookstore.
Well, they're not going to have it at a library.
Roll a bookstore use.
Shopping 101.
No.
I'm sorry?
No.
You did not succeed?
No.
Okay. So you look and you ask the owner. You look for a few hours. Lots of books. You don't really find much of any consequence. Not much really. I mean, there's a lot there, but not much really there regarding lycanthropy or other
Where are the wolves?
other magical ailments.
What was that?
The ghosts.
That has your underwear?
Yeah, it's not funny.
In the shell.
The Christmas past.
All right, so what are you guys doing now? What are you doing now, Evelyn?
That was my thing. I was spending the week doing that.
Okay.
They don't have anything.
Carlos, would you like to do anything during that week in particular?
I'm not sure what I could do. It's a cosmopolitan town, right?
Yeah. Lots of Swiss and other people. Less Germans than there probably were.
I might go to some places that are more like kind of like expat places where, ambassadors would hang out or refugees or, like more of an international scene.
Okay.
And just kind of, it's not really a skill, but ask around after Innsbruck, just kind of ask about information, things like that. What the town's like.
Do you have espionage?
Yeah, some.
Double it,
Okay.
and then roll that.
Yeah, with it doubled, I get it.
Cool. So you spend a day or two drinking with the locals and enjoying your time there. They're very friendly and tend to be happy to, or I guess they aren't the locals. They're some displaced Germans that are against the war now that it's broken out. They are, from your gathering, people that were very in favor of the Republic, and now that's gone. There are some Italians that were kind of chased out of Italy due to the rise of Mussolini. And then there are even some Spaniards who are there. Nobody that were soldiers, but people that fled. And Switzerland seemed like as good a place as any. You get the idea that Innsbruck is dangerous, but it's dangerous like the rest of Germany is dangerous. There is a castle there that the name has lost on me.
Is it Castle Innsbruck?
No, it's not. It's Ambrose.
Ravenloft?
Ambrose.
I'm pulling it up now. It's Ambrose.
Ambrose. Castle Ambrose.
Uncle Andros?
Castle Ambrose.
Uncle Andros. Yeah, there you go.
Ambrosia?
Do a barrel roll.
Uncle Andros!
Do a barrel roll?
Uncle
Don't you love it when
Andros
people
is
make
the
fun of
bad
you?
guy from Star
Star
Fox.
Fox.
Is it really?
Yep.
Yeah, Uncle
Do a
Andros.
barrel roll, Fox.
He rules the planet Venom, and he invades the Lilat system, and he employs Star Wolf.
I did not play the game that had Starwolf in it. I only played the original.
Uncle Andros!
Yeah, that's who it was.
That's what his nephew yelled.
Mm-hmm.
He worked with Star Wolf.
George, you are a treasure.
This is all true.
It is. He's spot on.
So, yeah, you spend a couple of days there, get to know the now locals, get to know the people that head there. Generally, it's a positive environment. I mean, they're downtrodden and they're not happy where they're at, but they're positive of the world and seem not to hold on to too much negativity. So, anything else you want to do?
Let me look at some stuff. I think that probably covers it. I would think about... Okay. If we're going to go to Innsbruck, I would assume we'd be doing it via the roads.
Yeah.
I could use Navigate to maybe chart a couple of ways that would kind of avoid, populated areas, maybe spot of overland travel here or there. That would be, basically try and figure out a way with Navigate to get through.
Innsbruck is kind of, between here and Innsbruck is going to be heavy mountains, so there's not a lot of overland travel that you can do.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of, lesser used paths or roads that you could definitely use. They're going to require a little more concentration. These are kinds of roads that don't have guardrails and you fall off them outside the mountain and die. So, definitely something that you spend the rest of your time doing and are pretty successful with. You feel like you have a couple of paths so that if something comes up, you can either double back and use the other one or switch over to another one if you need to.
Okay, cool.
Brian.
Yes.
Couldn't think of your name, sorry. What would you like to do? You going to contact the church?
No. It's not particularly strong area of Catholicism, is it?
Switzerland still has a good Catholicism. They're not that far from Rome.
Maybe later. I have a few other things on my list.
Okay.
First, upon leaving William and wishing him a speedy recovery and saying that we'll be back to visit him. I do visit him daily to see how he's progressing along.
Okay.
I'm not just going to abandon him at the hospital.
Thank you.
They're pretty short meetings. They're kind of more perfunctory than much anything else, but
Well, it's the thought that counts.
sure. You haven't run off. Very good. I think I'd like to start off with making contact with whomever we reached out to confirm that William was here.
Okay. You meet Franck. He's a Frenchman. Yeah, a Frenchman. He only gives you his first name.
Okay. I'm sorry. I did have another question.
Sure.
How did we get here, and do we have papers?
You have papers stating you as British nationalists, which isn't the case for any of you. But that's the paperwork you have. You came
And permission
by,
to be within.
Yeah, absolutely. You came by train
Right.
into probably Bern, and then have access to you can have access to a car. It's not that much of an issue.
For just within Bern, or for when we leave?
You can
potentially?
have both.
Okay. Very good. Okay. So, Franck,
Oui.
did you ever see a German with William?
I only checked on William after you inquired about him. I wasn't informed he was there.
Yes. Did you ever see a German with him?
No.
When you checked on him, what was his health condition?
On the mend from the gut shot. He seemed healthy, not malnourished, but tired. Like he had been healing. That does take a while.
Yes, of course.
Seemed in decent spirits.
How much do you know about the agency that I work for?
You work for MI6, right? That's probably what he was told. The section M is probably not well known.
Okay.
Section M would be like
I work for a division of MI6. Yes.
they are the best of the best throughout the world in intelligence.
Do I know what Franck is from?
French.
No. I mean,
I'm not sure.
is he MI6? Is he like
He's
some other
probably
agency, or-
probably a secondary source.
Oh, okay.
The guy they made contact with, probably more like what Albrecht was originally, and then became more. Franck probably will never become more unless he has some sort of great thing.
Very good. Okay. I appreciate your thoughts, and we count on people like you to help us in those regards. I wanted to perhaps call upon your help a little bit more. Have you heard of any strange things recently? No matter how strange, I'd appreciate hearing about them. No matter how outlandish you think that they might be, I'd really like to hear about them.
There has been a buzz about aircraft from the German border, the Austrian, whatever, the border with the Nazis.
Yes.
Aircraft that fly faster,
Yeah.
a little bit louder than what we would expect. Some sort of testing was going on. It ended about 3-4 weeks ago, though.
Around the time. Well, this is
Around the time that you guys fled through that area.
Okay.
I've also heard, war broke out, so there's always rumors, but the ones I feel are more believable, I think is the word I'm looking for. Like,
Sure.
your language is always such a hard thing to follow.
Yes.
The ones I feel are more credible, there's the word, mostly deal with the German soldiers moving quickly in a dangerous fashion. There are rumors that their bombers decimate, and then they roll through with their army and conquer. That's what I've heard happened in Poland, and there is a lot of fear, even in Switzerland, that will happen here as well.
Excellent. I appreciate that. We've heard some similar things. So you said that those are the more credible ones. I would love to even hear some of the less credible ones, especially anything that perhaps has come up recently and, more local to anything that's happened here in Bern.
Here in Bern, nothing strange. I mean, the Swiss Guard is up and mobile, so there are less people at work. But beyond that,
There haven't been any attacks.
not that I'm aware of. Honestly, my eyes are mostly towards Germany. I don't spend a lot of time on Swiss issues, but
Do you read the paper daily?
yes.
Yeah. No mentions of any
No, none.
rashes of attacks or anything?
No.
Excellent. We're staying at blah, blah, blah. If anything else comes to mind or anything else you want to share, I would appreciate hearing it.
Oui.
Thank you. So, I probably can't speak to many of the locals.
They speak probably German.
Yeah, I got a big fat 9 in German.
You could speak broken German enough to get basic information out of them, but not a lot.
Yeah. So, one of the days, I'm going to try to catch one of William's either nurses or doctors
Okay.
out of earshot of
Yeah.
William.
Okay. Yeah, we're probably third or fourth day you're there. Not a problem.
How's William progressing?
He's mending well. The claws are not terrible.
The claws?
He was clawed in his leg.
Oh, okay.
The claw marks are not terrible.
Okay, yes.
Sorry, this English language thing is very difficult for me.
Yeah. Quite understandable. Okay. Did you see it when it came in?
I was not here when he came in. I've changed his bandages a couple times, especially right after he first came in. Seems to be mending decently well.
Yeah. And these claw marks, was anything strange or unusual about them?
Look like dog claws. I mean, nothing especially strange.
They weren't oversized or anything?
Look like a big dog. Would say oversized. We've got, there are big dogs here in town.
Oh, okay.
That's what he claimed happened to him.
You say claim, do you not believe it?
No, that's what he reported when he was brought in, is that he was attacked by a large dog.
Okay.
I don't know what else would have made this. Definitely not bears or mountain goat. I don't know what else is in Switzerland. I have no idea. Yeti. Definitely wasn't Yeti.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much.
Okay. Shirley, can you roll idea for me?
Yes.
So you remember during the conversation about what was found that Atlantis was mentioned several times in the research being done in the papers that you brought back.
Right.
While you're at that shop, you do happen to find a couple of books about ancient civilizations, one of them covering Atlantis. I assumed you would have picked that up, correct? That seems like a good idea. Yeah.
Yes, I picked the books up about Atlantis and ancient civilization. Oh my God, can I not talk tonight?
No one can speak this evening.
the
No, like words hard.
Okay. So you take those back. Are you taking those back to Thomas?
Are they in Latin?
One of them is in Latin. The other one's in Greek. I don't know if you speak either of those.
I do.
I speak Latin.
Okay.
The Latin one I would just, peruse myself.
There's a lot there. It's going to take some time to really study it and understand it.
What are the names?
Treaties upon ancient civilizations, both lost and rumored, and the impact upon the other ancient civilizations known around the world. No, old books have long names. Don't look at me like that.
He's right.
Go ahead. Sorry, I
Both
asked.
rumored and real. What was most rumored and lost? It's blah blah blah. Whatever. It's like 35 words long. It's seriously long. So the one in Latin, the other one, the shopkeeper does translate for you, and it's the beliefs in ancient civilizations being lost prior to the rise of Greek culture. That's not nearly long enough, but you get the idea. Phil has a question.
After speaking to Franck, I'm going to seek out Carlos when he's not hanging out with the
I think you should
international
go to the bar with
community.
him. That sounds like a great idea.
What,
Drinking.
you don't like international people?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to intrude upon your act.
These people know what werewolves are, man. We can talk about that stuff. Okay, you can, hotel, wherever.
Yeah. I just figured that would be the place that I'd bump into you unless you announced, hey, this is where I'm going. I think that we should try to track down this German, if the German is still in Bern.
The one that scratched up William?
Yes.
That could be dangerous. Do you have a lead on him?
No, I'm working. But Franck says there hasn't been any other reports of any other attacks. This is before I've had the conversation confirming that at least the nurse saw the claw marks.
Right.
So. But at least I know that much.
Do we have a name for this individual?
I don't remember picking that up from William, but we could go and ask him.
Yes, we might want to look at the records. It would be a good idea to... It might be tough, but it might let us know whether we are being led into a trap or if this is someone who is just...
Or just not letting a
Turned,
werewolf
unfortunately.
run around and
Yes, that is a good point.
Shall we go to see William?
Yes.
I guess we're all going to meet back at his room. Because I would have taken the Greek book to him.
Okay.
Oh, William.
Slap the book out of her hands.
You have to roll for that.
The devil's knowledge. No one should read. Terrible things are within.
Do you
If we were a
even know
society of
what they
illiterates,
say?
everything would be better. Come with me to burn the library.
You're crazy?
We will
can't
make
do
a
that.
better civilization.
Says the player who poisoned a well.
That's not me.
Yeah, no, it
the
was.
player.
Oh, player. You said player.
Evie and
player.
Evie are the same person.
And Dr.
I'm just
Catherine.
trying to fill dead air while the keeper of Elysium or whatever texts.
I was done. I was waiting for you guys to finish.
No,
Okay,
we were waiting
so-
for you to tell us what happens when we get to the hotel room.
You're at the you mean
Hospital bed.
You're at the hospital bed. I thought you were going to talk to William. That's what I was waiting for.
Yeah, we're.
We'll talk to him. He's right there.
I don't slap the book out. By
Sup,
the way.
Will?
She has a book for you.
Oh, excellent.
I brought you a beer. I take a
Even
beer.
better.
I take a beer out of my pocket.
Then I'll take my book and go elsewhere.
When was canned beer invented?
It's a jarred
It's a
beer.
bottle.
Oh.
Do any of you know Greek?
I know Greek.
You know Greek?
I know Greek.
I know a Greek guy.
Here's a book. It is in Greek.
Excellent.
I believe it's something to do with what is it?
So you have a book in Greek.
Cool.
Yes. It's about Atlantis, and I believe it has to do. It may give us some knowledge on the notes and documents that we found at before.
Do you believe in Atlantis?
I believe it's a possibility.
Carlos nods.
Anything is possible.
Yeah, well, never mind.
Was Plato that wrote on him? Or wrote on Atlantis?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
Originally, but there's been more writings since then.
Right.
And wrote about it as a metaphor, by the way.
Right. So I mean, as a scientist, I would.
As a
not
scientist,
believe
you
that.
think it's complete, potentially complete bunk, but at the same time, there's so much of the world that's not known.
And you're a werewolf now, so you know that things are crazy.
Well, and I mean, like, you just came out of the age
Right.
of discovery where so many things were found. There's always potential, and the ocean has not been explored hardly at all.
Right, because the submarines don't start till now.
Yeah.
So
well,
in
no.
the next,
I mean, submarines since the 1700s, man.
Yeah.
but nothing to the
U-boats-
caliber that we're about to get into.
Well, U-boats were seriously big in World War One. So, I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying, but the actual quality sonar doesn't exist.
Right, that's coming.
Yeah. Eventually.
The next year or two.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the same thing with creatures from another world. Like, that's probably never actually a thing, but you don't want to rule anything completely out just in case. There's always a potential that Atlantis happened. It could also have been just an island in general that fell, and it's just been rumor on top of that that's caused it to inflate.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I figured. So I'll take the book, but I won't be able to get to it right now as we're talking. But I'll get to it.
Okay.
Okay.
William,
Yes,
what was the name of the German?
I know it was Paul, and I want to say it was
Paul is a very non-German name.
Paul is a German name.
Yeah, there's Paul, German Pauls.
Yeah,
Paul German. His name was Paul German.
his name was Paul, but it was
I
Fleischer
think one of the guys
or
from
Flischer or
Rammstein is named Paul.
Fisher. I don't remember catching the last name clearly because I don't speak
German.
No, I speak German. I don't speak Swiss.
Oh.
So
Don't Swiss speak German? Or Swiss in a whole other language that I'm just not aware of?
They speak, Swiss, German, and French.
Okay.
yeah. So I mean,
Yeah, Paul Landers is one of the guitarists for Rammstein.
Wow.
it was like a Fisher or Fleischer.
Well, we can follow up with the hospital to maybe firm that up, and then we're going to try to track down this German.
Okay.
Okay.
I hope he hasn't fled. That's my big concern.
Well, we're going to try to catch him if we can. So, I'm going to go see if I can. Did he? Was he in the same room with you? Like, where did you run into him, so I can help figure out with the work with the staff?
He was for a short time, for like a day or two,
Okay.
and then they pulled him out.
All right. Hopefully that'll be enough to get that name. So then Brian will leave and try to work with hospital staff to get the correct name.
Yeah. We'll come with him.
Okay.
And also, before we leave, we will kill him so you don't turn into one of them.
I don't think that's how that works.
No, I think it is.
I'm sorry. I don't think that's how that works.
Is it?
No, it is not.
That's
how
vampires
it
you're
works.
thinking.
And they don't exist.
Wait, there are vampires?
No.
No, that's
You guys
but-
know about this stuff. I don't.
I
just
know.
play
That's why we're
Airplane.
telling you
There's
that's not how this
not.
works. And
It's just
Previous-
mythology.
Previous to a couple of years ago, did you think
Brian
werewolves
didn't
existed?
wait for this. He
Did you guys know about the werewolves like 5 years ago?
no.
I mean, there's always talk, and there are medical conditions
There's
described in literature, but
Possibilities.
So do you know how the werewolves work? We'll make
How
sure to
they
kill
what?
this one so you don't turn into a werewolf. I go follow Brian.
Rob, can you roll luck for me?
an 8.
You are now
I
a
got
werewolf.
So
Like,
you get
hella
to the,
got that, 'cause
you
that's
get to
under
the
80.
nurse. I got it.
Does he get werewolf powers now?
No, would you stop?
Can he go Krynos?
So you get to the desk, the nurse's station, and go ahead.
We're trying to get some information about someone that was rooming with William Thomas, someone that we believe might have been involved in the attack upon him, and so we were trying to get the name of one of his roommates. We believe it's a Paul Fleischer, or something like that.
We typically don't give out information on patients.
Yes, but as I stated, that this was a case where this person attacked.
I see your point. Does your point also come with a badge?
No.
Am I present for this now?
Yeah.
Who's this?
A nurse. It's like one of the angry German nurses. The ones that would bench press you.
Comes with a 20.
It's a lot of money.
Snip.
Well, I wouldn't want to give you any information out on a patient, but there was a Paul Fleischman. But he was not in Dr. Thomas's room.
Like, in a wink sense, or
No, just in, I won't be able to give you out any other information than that, but he definitely was not in Dr. Thomas's room. It takes the 20.
Carlos shrugs.
Dr. Thomas has actually been pretty alone in his room all week.
Has he had any other guests in his room?
No, but he has been moving around. We encourage that. You got to get your strength back up, and part of that is getting up and walking the halls.
But no patients assigned to his room.
No, none.
Thank you.
He was also out of it for a little while, in and out with the morphine. We had to give him some strong doses a couple of times.
Thank you very much. I'm going to take 2 steps back. Carlos?
I take 2 steps back as well.
I just didn't know if you were going to continue the conversation with the nurse or not. He was taking a lot of morphine with on the escape. Obviously he was hurt and we were trying to keep him moving. So, but then he did clearly state that this is someone that was assigned to his room, so that's a little concerning to me.
Well, these people have powers that can cloud men's minds. Yes, there are many questions raised by this.
Perhaps the meeting with Miss October is in order.
Yes, and it still might be worthwhile trying to track down this individual.
Yes, I think so. So we'll go back to the hotel and
Miss October.
Miss October.
I'm still in the room.
You're staying in the room with him. You guys kind of pour over the book. What's your Greek at?
30.
Can you roll that for me?
I did not get it.
How badly did you fail?
70 over 30.
So it is a little tough going. His Greek is not great, and a lot of this is higher concept. Also, some of it is ancient Greek, and some of it is Greek. Kind of flips back and forth between the two, and there's a very different syntax between the two of them. But you guys start to get through a little bit of it. You get to, you flip through a couple of chapters where it's clearly not talking about Atlantis. When you get to the Atlantis chapter, describes an island, a large island, that was advanced using crystals, blue crystals, that advanced their civilization and their weaponry. They were known as a great warrior race. They attacked often without cause or consequence, did as they saw fit, and then the creatures that they worshipped drew the island under the water. And that's kind of where it's left. Can you roll archaeology for me.
Odd 8.
Okay. And
Under
then,
75.
And then also natural history. Or history, not natural. Shirley, you can also roll those things.
I do not have archaeology.
Do you have history?
I missed on history, but I got the archaeology.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I made it. 14 under 70.
From the sounds of it, it's possible. From the way they describe the god rising up, and it sounds like it could have been some sort of earthquake. It's potential that could have dislodged the island and caused it to sink or move. Either.
That would probably would have been my natural history then.
We'll go with history. I don't care.
Well, I mean,
she got it. That's all that matters.
Right.
If for some reason the island was dislodged, who knows what happened to it? That would have been very rare, but at the same time, who knows what that looks like? So, it's a very dangerous situation if that's what actually happened. But who knows if that's the situation at all? So, if the island still exists or existed past that time frame, who knows where it's at or was? Doesn't really give you an idea, other than it was traversable by boat during the time of ancient Greece. So around the time of the Phoenicians at their height, and prior to that. So you're looking at very crude boating technology, but still travelable to that. So you're looking at maybe a dozen miles off of a coast at most once you get out into the Atlantic, because it clearly was not in the Mediterranean.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean that's the basic idea. There's more to it that goes into depth on the crystals, but none of it really makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
And you can't tell if it's your Greek that's causing it to not make sense, or if it's that who wrote this is a little crazy. There's been some hints at that. A couple
My
of places.
assumption is probably both.
Yeah.
It's probably a combination of the two.
Yeah. So, how long do you stay at the hospital looking into this?
I'll bury myself in the books.
Yeah, until he gets tired.
Until he gets tired. Okay. You are hurt, so you get tired a little after sundown. About an hour after the evening meal, you're not making any headway, and it's probably time to just set it aside and let it sit for a little bit, and then come back to it the next day. You have Evie, you have not eaten, because they don't serve you hospital food, and there's no cafeteria here because that's a modern convenience.
Right.
So you head down for dinner, or head to the hotel for dinner.
I would have called over if she was there that late.
Okay.
To see if she was still there and such.
Yeah.
I also would like to, I know I'm not there, but ask a question.
Mm-hmm.
Does William get any medication during the time that Miss October's in the room?
Aspirin.
Okay.
Essentially, yes, painkillers, but nothing strong.
Okay.
He's in pain, but not overwhelming pain.
Okay.
So, unless he asks for something stronger.
No.
So, and yeah, Evelyn, do you want to answer the phone there, Evelyn?
I mean, they don't have.
Carlos is calling over. I
Do
didn't know
they?
if he wanted to actually talk to you or just check on you.
Oh, yeah, I would answer the phone.
How long do you think you're going to be there tonight?
We've just finished.
I'll bring Blake over so we can escort you back to the hotel.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you.
Do you guys come over? You're probably not too far from the hospital.
Yeah. Still.
And then head back to the hotel.
How was your work with the texts?
It really didn't amount to very much. Just the ancient mythologies about Atlantis, the island. It did mention something about their gods coming up and taking the island itself under the sea. But that could be an analogy for an earthquake or, shift in the tectonic plates.
Was there anything about the dead walking or mysterious energies powered by blue crystals?
Yes.
Yeah, it did cover the
It
blue
mentioned
crystals.
blue crystals.
What about the death?
It did not mention anything about Walking Dead.
For the blue crystals, was there anything about what they are, where they're from?
No.
Yes, there was. I'm sorry. My mistake.
Okay.
I didn't expect that exact question. It's a good question. It explained that the crystals fell from the sky. It is vague or conflicting, but essentially they fell from the sky from another dimension, and were buried in places. The reason that Atlantis rose was because there was a big deposit in Atlantis.
So I would have told you that.
Well played.
Did William seem coherent through all of it?
He seemed very interested in the project at hand, trying to get to the gist of the text.
Coherent and lucid?
Yes.
We've made it back to the hotel, presumably, in that.
Yeah.
Well, sure. In a quiet spot. Do you recall that William said that the Paul, the German named Paul, and the last name he wasn't sure of, was someone that was in his room for a day or two?
Yes, when you questioned him, he answered that.
Well, when when Carlos and I went to go try to find out more from the hospital staff, they said that no one's been put into his room. He's had a room to himself.
Do you think he was hallucinating, or how did he get the
I don't know what
claw
it is.
marks on his leg?
I don't know that. I do know that while we were escaping from the Germans and getting into Switzerland, he took morphine then, quite appropriately for the wounds that he had and the movement that we had to do, and that in at least a portion of the healing that he was doing here, he was also under morphine, the hospital staff told us. So I have some concerns about, not through any seeming deliberateness, but some concerns with the accuracy, perhaps, of what he has stated. I believe that Carlos and I still plan to try to track down Paul Fleischman.
Yes.
Paul Fleischman. And perhaps if we can get a hold of him and maybe corroborate some of these facts, then we can still have some pieces to go forward with. But
Did they say, if he wasn't in the room, was he even there at all?
He was a patient in the hospital, because they gave us that name. At least they confirmed that name as a patient in the hospital.
But not in his room.
Not in his room.
So do you think that he sought him out?
Could be. But the fact that he confused the detail about him being actually in his room.
Well, that could be the morphine.
But then, if that's the morphine, maybe the morphine is about Innsbruck. Maybe it's a different city. Maybe he never mentioned werewolves, and that was just a product of some of his dreams, given the things that we've been dealing with. It opens up a lot of questions about what is and is not true. And I wanted to bring these facts to you so that you're aware of them, just as Carlos and I are, so that when we do make a decision about what to do once we're all healthy, you're aware of them.
Okay. I will leave that up to you, as I don't know. I'm not medically skilled.
I'm not medically trained either, but at some point you're going to have to make a decision about, or help this group make a decision, and perhaps a decision as an individual about what we're going to do next. and some of that is going to depend upon how much of what William has told us you believe to be accurate and or not.
I see. Okay. I think we definitely need to find out this Paul character, if he is what
Carlos, you've been hanging out with the
William says he is.
The non-natives?
Yes, I think it would definitely be worthwhile to ask around with these people.
I can help and come with you if you think that'd be helpful. If you think bringing another person into that situation might get them more agitated or concerned, I can stay away as well.
They seem pretty open and non-suspicious, so I don't think it would cause any tension for you to come.
All right.
So you guys are headed there?
Should we
I
grab
go
dinner
with you, or
They would serve dinner, right? I mean, we've been in like restaurants and
Yeah.
warehouse
Oh, yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, might as well grab dinner. We can all go.
It won't be any.
I
It
am
may
a
not be
little
anything
famished.
fancy, but you could get some
Sausages.
wurst or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's delicious.
Well, to quote my favorite podcast, on that bombshell,
On that bombshell.
that'll be it for tonight for Nerds Domain Presents Masks of
that
Nyarlathotep.
bombshell. Let's go eat some sausages.
And that will do it for us tonight on the Nerds Domain Presents Masks of Nyarlathotep. Remember, you can email us at nerdsdomain@gmail.com or find us on facebook.com/nerdsdomain, on Twitter @nerdsdomain, or over at our site, nerdsdom.com. Be sure to sign up for the newsletter while you're there. You can head over to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. We want to thank Josh Shop for our music. Don't forget, you can support us at patreon.com/nerdsdomain. And check out our shirts at slashloot.com.